In this lesson, you're going to learn how to make a user interface or UI. So to get started, we're going to create a new camera because we're going to have a bunch of stuff placed in our scene, and then that whatever that camera sees is going to show up in our main camera. So we're going to go to our add menu here, and we're going to add a new camera. Now it's inside this cube, which is why you can't see it. So I'm going to move that outside. And right now it's at a weird angle. So I'm going to reset that rotation. There's two ways to do this. We're going to either set the rotation to 0 here, so I can just drag over those and I'll push 0. That'll reset it. Or I can press Alt R and that will reset the rotation of this object. Okay, we want to make this, just put it off to the side here. And we want to make this the active camera. So the way we do that is we press Control and numpad 0. Now we'll make that the active camera. So instead of it going into this one, now it'll go into that one. Then we can start dragging stuff in from our asset library here that's provided for you. And let's see, I'll just grab in a button here. Boop. Now I don't see it. That's because it's above my camera. So what I need to do is click on my camera. Let's move it up. And then I can go back into the camera view with 0, or you can click on this camera icon here. Now I can scale this object and move things into place. Let's pretend I'm making something for a mobile game. I could put in some other elements. These won't functionally do anything with our project right now, but just so that you can see it. And let's add in one more. Boop. Okay, the next thing we want to do is we're going to have a score show up in this corner here. So I need to add a text object. I want to go add text. It's going to show up in that cube again because it's at the world center. Just going to move that into place and then push 0 on the number pad, go back into my camera, then I can scale it down. Okay, and in order to change the text, what we do is we go into edit mode. So with that selected, we're going to click on object mode here, go to edit mode, and then it turns it into a regular text editor. So we can type whatever we want. So I'm going to put score, and then I'll duplicate that over and just set this to a number. Now, there is a bug in the game engine. We just want to set the score to something other than what we want it to start at. So if we want it to start at 0 and you're adding the score, then put it not at 0. If you were subtracting, like it was health or something, then just don't put it at the health you want it to be because we'll set that in the programming. Now we can add materials to this so that we can see it, because when it overlaps with that, it won't show up very well. So I clicked on this beach ball icon, click the color, and we can change it. Now to add that to this one, I'm going to click this drop down and we'll just select that material. We'll call it, well, I'll just call it black because it's black. And then I can click on this. And if I type in the name of the material, it'll show up. Now, if I put this in place where I want it, I can't see it. And that's because the object is too close or underneath the button. So I'm going to put that in place, go back into my camera view. Okay. There's a couple things that we got to do to set up before we can put it in this camera. So first thing, let's rename this camera so we know what it is. And you can do that in the outliner. You just double click and type in the new name. So I'm going to type in UI cam like that. And then I'm going to put all of these into a new collection. So these things over here, these are collections. These like boxes, they're collections. They're kind of like layers. So I'm going to move these into a new collection. So I'm going to press M for move, and I'm going to click New Collection, and then it asks me what I want to name it, and I'll just call it UI, and then hit OK. And now they're all in a new collection called UI. So now on this camera, I can add my programming, and I'm going to press Control Numpad 0 to make that my active camera again. Now, in order for you to see what we're doing, you do need to be in the camera view, so make sure you press 0 on the number pad to go into that camera. And I'm going to add a sensor delay of 0 because I don't want it. I don't want it to wait, so I want it to happen immediately. So delay of 0, add actuator, and we're going to do a collection because we're dealing with collections here. And it asks us to choose a collection. I'll choose the UI that we selected. Now by default, it's set to suspend. So we can suspend or resume collection logic, physics, and visibility. And we can also do add overlay. So we want to do add overlay, and we have the UI selected, and then it asks us to choose a camera. So I'm going to click in there, and I'm going to type in UI, and it'll come up with the UI cam that we renamed. I'm going to connect these, and when I press play, now the UI will show up in my screen no matter where this camera is. The one thing that you'll need to do that I'm not going to show in this video, because it was covered in the previous lesson, is I want you to add a changing score to this. So when you press a key, I want the game property of this text to go up. If you don't remember how to do that, go back to lesson 4. That's the end of this assignment. Good luck.